Hey Siri, start the car. Cool, right? Just kidding. This car might have the letter I all over it, but it's not Apple's new iCar. It's actually the all-new Jaecoo J6. And if you ask me personally, it looks a little bit like a Jeep Wrangler, a little bit like a Land Rover Defender, a tiny bit like a Mahindra Thar, mixed with an oversized Jimny. But if you already didn't know, Jaecoo is the other subsidiary brand of Chery Automobiles. And you might have seen Omoda E5 on the road by now. Well, while Omoda was built with the urban dweller in mind, a sophisticated, stylish, practical person, the Jaecoo was built with those that like the beaten off track. And I also do want to point out that in some automobile markets, this is sold as the Chery iCar 03, but it's also been rebranded as the Jaecoo J6 in other markets. And this is the rear-wheel drive version, not to be mistaken by the more powerful and bigger battery contained all-wheel drive version. It has got a 65 kilowatt hour LFP battery, made it to a 135 kilowatt rear mounted motor that pushes the car forward with 220 Newton meters of torque and gives an estimated range of about 400 kilometers, give or take. Depends on how much off-roading you do. The car has a top speed of 150 kilometers an hour and can do 0 to 100 in 10.5 seconds. Quite impressive numbers for an off-roader, right? The car comes with a massive ground clearance of 200 mm for a wheelbase of about 2.7 meters. And it's got really short lips at the front and back, making its approach angle of 28 degrees and departure angle at the back of 32 degrees quite commendable. This car comes with a timid 264 liters of boot space at the back, but it's wide and it's tall, making it super practical for your luggage. And then it's got a bit of spaces for storage here and there. For example, it doesn't have a frunk, but it has a frunk-like compartment way at the back that can hold up to 10 kgs of weight. And for a surprise bonus, it's actually got 24 liters of storage space underneath the rear seat for your longer items. Oh, and you can always fold the rear seat flat in that traditional 60-40 ratio, giving you a flat rear floor bed for tons of more cargo space. And as for charging, the port is at the back here, automatically opens and will automatically close too in a while. CCS type 2, so here's the AC charger and here's your DC charger. And the thing about this car is you can charge it up in different ways. You can use a granny slow charger that will, come on, 65 kilowatts at the rate of 2 means it's going to take a proper 30 hours and above for 0 to 100. But Omoda Nepal do supply a 6.6 kilowatt faster AC charger, which will bring this charge time down to about 10.5 hours, which is an overnight charge. And if you're on the highway and need a quick top up, it does accept up to 80 kilowatts of DC fast charging, which the company claims will do from 30 to 80% in about 30 minutes, give or take. All right, that was enough car, honestly. Let me now hop onto the driver's seat and head towards Phulchowki. Why Phulchowki, you might be asking? It's because it's the tallest mountain surrounding the capital of Kathmandu, and at a height of about 2,800 meters, or about 9,000 feet. I've heard it's a single track, steep, and a bit rocky at the top. So I assume it's going to be the perfect terrain to test this off-roader truly out. So let's get driving. I just wanted to jot down some quick driving impressions while we're on the way to climb Phulchowki. And let me tell you straight off the bat, you are like sat so damn high and upright on this car. Like, it's such a commanding, towering position. I have a clear view of the bonnet in front, clear view of the back with these gigantic mirrors on each side. Even the seats, though quite cushy, are like definitely bolstered on such a way that you have this very confidence inspiring position. Oh, and I like that there are proper grab handles here in the center console right away in case things get a bit shaky. The other thing that's just super unique about this car is that this windscreen angle is just so upright. It's just so damn unique in like every other. Oh, and this is a nice touch. I hit the indicator and then my blind spot shows up, but then I can also change the camera angle depending on what I would want to look at. And then this automatically goes away in some time. And as for drive mode, you have an eco mode here, followed by a normal mode. And then if you want your full potential unlocked, you have a sports mode. But what I also really liked about this car is that there is an additional customizable mode, and you can personalize things like your accelerator sensitivity between slower, standard, and faster. And then you have energy recovery between low, medium, high, and strong. And this is what regenerative braking is. I don't want to point out that there is like a tiny fraction of a second lag before regeneration kicks in on this car. Don't know why, but you leave your accelerator and then like it's like a quick snap, and then you suddenly you feel that regenerative braking kick in. And unless you're like in strongest, it's like pretty okay regeneration. So I'm just going to leave it in medium for personal preferences. And you also have steering wheel sensitivity, comfort, standard, and sports depending on what you want. The great thing about this car is that regardless of what mode you're in, I was a bit skeptical that it had just 220 Newton meters of torque for a car of this size, volume, road presence, but it's zippy in all driving modes and wheel spin seems to be very nominal. All right, let me pause the drive and quickly go over the exteriors with you. It's definitely not a typical looking SUV. It's rough, it's masculine, it's rugged, and has like boxy bold lines throughout the car. And it's 100% got that off-roader look nailed. Up at front, I've already opened the bonnet for you, but everything is covered, unfortunately. And you do have one washer wiper fluid top-up option available. There is a bit of a light show when you lock and unlock this car, and it has its signature eye badge in the middle and on each side as well. And the thing is, this car comes with boneless wipers on the windshield, and it has ADAS level 2 sensors as well as a camera up there, but also down here, and another camera here. And then the thing about this car is that its headlights and DRLs and tail light are all LED treatment here. Then coming onto the side, again, that boxy line right here, you have a tire profile of 225/60 R18s with an aluminum alloy rim. Check out my Citroen EC3 review if you want to know what those numbers mean. And coming up, you have this electronically adjustable, foldable, and heated mirror that actually automatically tilts down when it's in reverse mode. Nice touches there, Jaecoo. And again, your side lights are integrated here. You have these flush door handles that hide away when the car is locked or in speed. And then you have green tinted windows throughout. Also roof rails here, although I don't know what the weight capacity of load here is, but they might just be for aesthetics. A massive panoramic sunroof here, and you actually don't have any shark fin antenna. Gone are those days. And just stepping back a bit, I want to show you this side profile. Honestly, it looks like a Land Rover Defender, the newer facelift for me. It's again got that tall, upright look with square windows here and there. And then at the back, you have a C-pillar here with a bit of an outline. Also, I forgot to mention, but there's plastic cladding all around the car. probably if you hit things off-road, that would be good. You have your charger port at the back. You continue with that boxy outlook here too. You have a rear wiper, and then you have a small 2-strip rear mounted top light, stop light, and more of that eye badging there. If I lock it, you're gonna see that animation again. Eye there, eye there, eye there. Eye just seems to be the theme everywhere. And proximity sensors at the back, as well as the other many of your 360 cameras. Also, when I unlock the car, this is the extra storage space I was talking about. And then this car actually has a boot that swings open like this. I am now seriously climbing Phulchowki, almost at the top. And unless you floor the car, traction is holding really well for stock tires. Even with a passenger, ground clearance is phenomenal. Those short front lips at the front and back make going over mounds and humps super easy. And this grab handle is turning out to be quite useful. Good suspension articulation because of these independent suspension arms, and the car is just gliding without a challenge. Also, what I really like about this car though is the visibility. You're sat really upright and you can see all 4 corners of the car, especially the front too, so you know exactly where to point the car. And we actually made it to the top. Like, it was an awesome, fun challenge, especially that last 2-3 kilometers. Quite cold up here, not gonna lie, but this car made it super easy and fun. The funniest part about this was that we were climbing such inclinations, rocky terrain, without any sound. You could just hear the rocks grip, slip around here and there. Oh my god. And behind me is the army camp, so I'm not allowed to go further. So I'm gonna continue talking about it as I descent from the hill. So see you in a bit again. Alright, here's another quick pause from the drive just to show you the interiors this time. Memory seats, nice. On the door you have all of this soft touching with a bit of perforated leatherette, a push button to open the door here, but there's also an emergency like tab pull in case the electronics fail on this car. A good bottle holder for a large bottle here, and more cutouts for space. And then coming into the car, it's like a very spacious and upright sort of cabin. And this one is all in black, but there is also a 2-tone interior version. And straight off the bat, this car comes with a couple of different modes. A rest mode, where everything closes in. And then a pet mode, where the AC and interiors are on. And then a trailer mode, where the car is shift into park, and then you are able to push around this car. As for the driver's seat here, you have quick navigating window one-touch buttons on each of the 4 doors, like even at the back. Really nice touch. And then you have seat adjustment, which can be done electronically for both the reach, the height. There also seems to be a bit of lumbar support. These seats at the front though are actually cooled. Like, you can cool your front seats, passenger seats, and rear seats. As for the steering column, there is an eye in the middle with a very decent, strong, bulky looking horn. And then you have a tab here for adjustment of reach and rake. I will leave that at this. And then your steering wheel has Tesla-like controllers here on each side. The right side seems to take care of your media controls and volumes, whereas the left side takes care of your car functions and menu functions. Oh, and I want to show you on the left side, you have your indicators that pops up the blind spot, and it's got really good high definition cameras all over. You have your wiper controls integrated here. And then your headlight controls though are pulled down from this notification, and then you have auto on, off, and your fog lights, leaving it in auto. And then on your right hand side, neatly tucked away, is your Prindle, your gear selector. Foot on the brake, down for drive, and then up for reverse, and reverse automatically engages your 360 camera. As for the display screens, it's a 9.2 inch, of course diagonally, driver's display here, followed by a 15.6 inch center console here, and it's quite responsive and also gets decently bright in midday sun. I do want to point out that there is wired Apple CarPlay, as you can see, connected to my phone. And well, Google Maps is, you can't zoom in, zoom out this way, but other than that, I will have an entire other video explaining all of this, so stay tuned for that. And then coming to the center console, you have these massive grab handles in case you're going off-road like me right now. You have a AC here with a 2.5 PM air filter. Sadly, no buttons except for this power off button and your hazard light buttons up there. And then you do get a wireless charger here with a AC vent cutout in case your phone overheats. Nice touch again. And then down here you have another storage cubby and two USB outlets. One is USB-A where you can connect your cell phone, and the other is a USB-C meant solely for charging. Two cubby for like bottle holders, but these are on the smaller side. And so a big tall bottle might fit, but anything larger will probably not fit. And then you have a button here to open the space underneath your shoulder rest, and there is a vent opening closing here, and it's actually cooled. And then you can open your glove box via a touch on the center console there, and it's a pretty decently sized glove box for your paperwork and manual. And the seat on the passenger is also ventilated, and you have electronic adjustment just like the driver's seat. Everything about this car is upright. Oh, let me quickly show you your, oh, there's my selfie stick. All right, I will just leave it in here for now. 24 liters of storage space down there, by the way. And it's an EV platform, so you have this large expansive flat floor after all, with decent thigh support. And the great thing about this car is that even if it's upright, there is like great amounts of shoulder room, head room, and then knee room here, as well as foot room down there. And then an added bonus is that there's tons of light coming in from these big boxy windows and panoramic sunroof, so you really feel spacious. And there's a lot of practicality at the back here too. Two AC vents, by the way, with one USB-A and one USB-C, 60-watt charging, so that's properly future-proof. And you do have an armrest in the middle with two smaller size cup holders, and obviously you have ISOFIX points on each side. So I'm heading down, had a quick stroll up at the top, went to the temple, interacted with some locals, and I'm again hitting the rocks. And this car has just been such a pleasure going up, but also now coming down. The surround cameras at the front, back, left, right have been really complimentary in aiding my direction of the wheels and the rest of the body. And honestly, no surprise, all that independent suspension has really helped with articulations and just in keeping all four wheels planted on the ground, even when it comes to like weird angles and sharp rock edges. So overall, I'm like really impressed. The car didn't show me its efficiency, but the company claims it's gonna come up in an update at some point in the future. But until then, I can proudly tell you range has been depleting. I started at 60%-ish, like around 62, 63, and I'm down to 43, and it's technically around a 20-kilometer drive today, so that did take a chunk out. And I'm sure efficiency has spiked even though AC's been off and there's just one passenger, no load at all. And this has to be the highlight of this EV, honestly. It's that ability to take the road less taken. And ride quality remained pretty plush on tarmac, but also super supple and gentle on rocky bits and off-road terrain too, thanks to that front McPherson independent suspension system and rear H-arm link independent suspension. So this could really, like, the four wheels on the four corners could really, like, articulate properly. I also really like the fact that on the way down from Phulchowki, I dropped from 9,000 feet, of course, and a little bit of regeneration, a little bit of frictional braking, and it was just so smooth and responsive even for such a long period of time. I honestly was very afraid that this car, because it's a proper 2-ton, it's actually 2,100 kilograms. Because of all that momentum, I really thought the brakes would heat and would lose their grip towards the bottom. But there are some things that I did miss on this car. Like, I would have really been grateful, what the hell is this car doing, with some more drive modes on this car. Like, it just says eco, normal, and sport, and I actually climbed Phulchowki in normal. If you were wondering, eco felt a bit sluggish, so one step above. I didn't even need to bother going into sports. And I wish it just had more modes, like a snow mode, a mud mode, a rock crawl. You know, the basic things you get in an off-roader. Some versions abroad do get it, but I don't know why this one would have. It would have really helped keep torque on the lower end while maintaining power output. And the other thing that I badly missed on this car were buttons. There are just 2 buttons on the inside cabin, and they're both up here. One is for your hazard lights and one is to actually turn the car off. Other than that, you'll have to look at this the entire time when you need to, like, navigate. But the thing is, this is an off-road vehicle. So would you rather be looking at the road and dodging obstacles, or would you be trying to find a drop-down menu somewhere? And I would have really liked the confidence and safety of a spare wheel. Like, do you really want to be using a tire repair kit and a sealant out in the jungle? But other than that, horn is fantastic. Road presence is amazing. You really don't feel that 2-ton weight even when you're off-roading somehow. Maybe it's because of the EV torque. And other than this, the company, Jaecoo, actually took me and a bunch of other media personnel to a proper off-road testing track out in Dhulikhel called Dirt Temple, about 30 kilometers or so out of the capital, where they had built this intensive track with long bends and, like, proper articulation places and, like, nosedives and, like, some big ramps. And oh my god, like, this car could handle all of that with so much ease. Oh, and fun fact, if you throw it into a bend, stomp your foot on the accelerator, because it's a rear wheel drive, the back end happily swings out too, and it'll give you a bit of a drift. Something I had never expected in any EV, honestly. Overall, I think this definitely breaks that mundane stereotype that EVs have of being soulless city commuters that just take you from point A to point B. If driven properly in the right scenario and terrain, like, this can really put a smile on your face. Anyway, that's been this review. Drop a comment if you have any questions about the car, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.